Every action begins as a thought. Every decision, every word spoken, every success or failure first takes root in the silent soil of the mind. Before a man lifts his hand, up before a woman speaks her truth, thought leads the way. This is why the person who learns to govern their thoughts holds the reins to their destiny. Thoughts are not idle. They are seeds. And like all seeds, they bear fruit according to their kind. A thought of fear will not produce courage. But a thought of strength held with conviction will become a force that reshapes reality. This is the invisible power that rules every visible circumstance. It is not chance that separates the calm from the chaotic, the strong from the weak, the victor from the victim. It is thought, disciplined, focused, persistent thought. A single idea, if believed with enough intensity, becomes a blueprint for behavior. It informs how you walk, how you speak, how you deal with pressure. If you believe the world is against you, every glance becomes a threat. But if you believe you are prepared, capable, and worthy, then even a storm becomes a proving ground. The mind creates the lens through which you see the world, and that lens determines whether you rise with confidence or shrink with doubt. But thought does not act alone. It attracts. Like a magnet, the dominant thoughts of your mind begin to draw to you the people, the opportunities, the events that match them. Hold in your mind thoughts of calmness, and you will find yourself surrounded by calm. Hold in your mind thoughts of purpose, and direction will reveal itself even in confusion. This is not mysticism. It is a law of life. Whatever dominates your mind begins to shape your habits, and your habits over time build the life you live. The challenge, of course, is that most people allow their thoughts to run wild like untrained horses. They believe every thought that enters their mind has a right to stay, but the mind must be disciplined. It must be watched, guarded, and fed only with that which serves your higher vision. For if you do not choose your thoughts, your environment will choose them for you. And if your environment is chaotic, negative, or filled with fear, your mind will become a reflection of that chaos. Unless you take control, you must become the master architect of your own mental world. Just as a builder does not toss bricks at random, you cannot afford to entertain thoughts that weaken, distract, or confuse. Every thought you think is either adding structure to your inner temple or tearing it down. The world around you is unstable. That is certain. But the mind can remain steady if the thoughts within it are rooted in clarity, purpose, and strength. Thought is your first tool, your first defense, your first creative act. You said definiteness of purpose. Expended 500 words and don't add any ending sentence, Chat GPT said. Definiteness of purpose, the foundation of every successful individual, every great leader, every influential figure, is built upon a singular, clear, and unwavering purpose. It is the compass that guides the journey, the fuel that drives the engine, and the light that illuminates the darkest path. Without a definiteness of purpose, and is like a ship adrift at sea, subject to the whims of the waves without direction or control. A purpose that is clear and definite does more than simply guide you. It provides an unshakable belief in your ability to achieve it. It gives you the confidence to weather any storm, to face any challenge, and to press forward when others might retreat. When you know exactly what you want and why you want it, the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become stepping stones toward your ultimate goal. Having definiteness of purpose means understanding exactly what you are working toward. It is not enough to say, I want success or I want happiness. These are vague aspirations that lack the power to mobilize your mind and efforts. A specific, well-defined purpose acts as a rallying cry for your mind, igniting a level of energy and enthusiasm that propels you into action. It transforms your thoughts into focused energy that works relentlessly toward one singular objective. This focused energy is essential, for it is easy to become distracted by the many demands and desires that life throws our way. Without a clearly defined purpose, it is easy to be pulled in various directions, each one promising success or fulfillment, but none delivering anything of lasting value. A strong, clear purpose acts as a filter, helping you sift through these distractions and focus only on the things that align with your goal. It gives you the strength to say no to the unimportant and yes to the things that will bring you closer to your vision. A person with a definite purpose is also equipped with something far more powerful than mere wishful thinking. They have conviction. Conviction is the unshakable belief in the value of their goal the inner certainty that they are on the right path. This becomes contagious. It inspires others to believe in their purpose as well, and it attracts opportunities that align with their vision. People with definiteness of purpose exude a quiet strength that draws people to them, whether as allies, mentors, or supporters. Their certainty creates a magnetic field around them that can change their circumstances, simply because others recognize their commitment to their cause. Moreover, definiteness of purpose is not just about setting a goal and working toward it. It also involves resilience. The journey toward any great achievement is filled with setbacks, doubts, and challenges. When your purpose is clear and definite, these setbacks become temporary inconveniences, not insurmountable roadblocks. You no longer see failure as the end, but rather as a lesson, a stepping stone on your path to success. The stronger your purpose, the more relentless your pursuit, and the less likely you are to be deterred by difficulty. When your purpose is definite, every decision becomes easier to make. You no longer waste time pondering what to do next, because your path is clear. Every choice, every action, every thought is aligned with your goal. This focus sharpens your judgment, accelerates your progress, and multiplies your effectiveness. You said control over self. Expended 500 words and don't add any ending sentence, ChatGPT said. Control over self. The greatest victory a person can achieve is not over external forces, but over themselves. Self-control, the ability to govern one's own thoughts, emotions, and actions, is the cornerstone of success. Without it, even the most intelligent, talented, or fortunate individuals will struggle to reach their full potential. Control over self is what separates the dreamers from the achievers, the thinkers from the doers. Self-control is the ability to steer your own mind and emotions in the direction of your choosing. It is a fundamental skill that governs every aspect of your life, from how you respond to stress, to how you treat others, to how you handle failure. The person who lacks control over themselves is often swept away by the tide of impulses, distractions, and temptations. On the other hand, those who have mastered the art of self-control are able to stay calm, focused, and deliberate in any situation. They understand that how they respond to the world around them determines their success, not the world itself. At the core of self-control is the power of thought. Our thoughts are the seeds from which our actions grow. When you are able to control your thoughts, you control the actions that arise from them. This requires awareness. Awareness of your internal dialogue, your emotional responses, and your automatic reactions. Most people, however, go through life reacting unconsciously, allowing their emotions to dictate their actions. They become prisoners to anger, fear, anxiety, or frustration, letting these emotions make decisions for them. The individual who has control over themselves, however, refuses to be ruled by such fleeting emotions. They pause, think, and respond based on logic and purpose, not on reactionary impulses. Another key aspect of control over self is emotional regulation. Emotions are a natural and unavoidable part of the human experience, but they must be managed with intention. Emotions like anger, fear, and jealousy can cloud judgment, distort reality, and lead to hasty decisions. However, when a person learns to recognize these emotions without being overwhelmed by them, they gain an immense advantage. Instead of reacting impulsively, they can take a step back, acknowledge the emotion, and choose how to respond. They might decide to approach a challenging situation with patience rather than frustration, or to face a fearful situation with courage rather than avoidance. Moreover, self-control is deeply connected to discipline. The ability to stay committed to long-term goals, even in the face of immediate discomfort or temptation, is essential for success. It's easy to succumb to distractions, to give in to the pull of the present moment, but discipline allows you to stay focused on your larger objectives. This requires delayed gratification, the ability to forego short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment. In every aspect of life, from personal development to financial growth to relationships, self-control allows you to make choices that align with your deeper desires, not just your immediate impulses. Self-control also requires an understanding of personal boundaries. Knowing your limits, setting boundaries, and respecting your own needs are all aspects of self-mastery. The person who lacks control over themselves will often overextend themselves, saying yes to everything and everyone without regard for their own well-being. This leads to burnout, frustration, and resentment. The person with control over themselves understands that their time, energy, and attention are precious resources. They learn to say a no when necessary, ensuring that they can dedicate their energy to the things that truly matter. Finally, control over self involves the ability to persevere in the face of adversity. Life is full of challenges, obstacles, and setbacks, but those who have mastered self-control understand that these moments are merely temporary. They refuse to let failure define them. Instead, they use setbacks as lessons, adjust their approach, and continue moving forward with resolve. The ability to keep going, even when things are tough, is a testament to the strength of self-control and an essential ingredient for long-term success. You said, respond, don't react. Expended 500 words and don't add any ending sentence, ChatGPT said. Respond, don't react. Life is full of challenges and unexpected situations that test our patience, our composure, and our character. In moments of pressure, confusion, or frustration, the instinctual human response is often to react impulsively. Our emotions can take the wheel, driving us to act without thought, to speak in haste, or to make decisions in a state of turmoil. However, there is a profound difference between reacting and responding. Responding is an art that requires a calm, intentional approach to the world, while reacting is often a reflexive, unchecked outburst driven by emotion. To truly thrive in this chaotic world, one must learn to respond, not just react. The act of reacting comes from a place of emotional impulsiveness. It is automatic, an instinct to protect, defend, or assert oneself, often based on the perceptions and emotions of the moment. A person who reacts is like a leaf in the wind, tossed and turned by whatever circumstance or emotional current comes their way. When a harsh word is spoken, the reaction is to retaliate in anger. When faced with adversity, the reaction might be to retreat in fear or frustration. These immediate responses are often fueled by stress, fear, or misunderstanding, and as a result, they may escalate situations, cause unnecessary conflict, or even damage relationships. On the other hand, responding requires control, presence, and choice. It's the act of taking a pause before acting, of stepping back for a moment to gain perspective, clarity, and understanding. Responding means having the ability to choose the best course of action rather than being driven by the emotional heat of the moment. It's an intentional action, not an automatic reflex. Instead of reacting impulsively when faced with criticism, a person who responds might take a moment to reflect, ask questions for clarification, and then offer a thoughtful, measured reply. In the face of anger or provocation, a person who responds will pause, assess the situation, and determine the most effective way to de-escalate or address the issue without letting emotions take control. One of the key elements of responding rather than reacting is self-awareness. It's about being in tune with your own emotional state, recognizing when you are feeling triggered and understanding the root of those feelings. Self-awareness gives you the space to pause and reflect before you act. When you understand that your initial emotional reaction may not always serve your long-term interest, you are empowered to make a conscious decision about how to engage with the situation. In doing so, you shift from being at the mercy of your emotions to being the master of your reactions. Moreover, responding rather than reacting requires a level of emotional regulation. Emotions are powerful forces, but they are not always reliable guides for making decisions. Anger can cloud judgment, fear can lead to avoidance, and sadness can foster inaction. When you react based on emotion, you may make decisions you later regret. However, when you respond with emotional control, you can make decisions that are thoughtful, measured, and in alignment with your values. This emotional regulation isn't about suppressing your feelings, but rather about recognizing them without being controlled by them. It's about creating the space to feel the emotion, acknowledge it, and then choose how to move forward in a way that best serves your goals and relationships. Another vital component of responding is patience. Often our first impulse in the face of conflict or tension is to act immediately, to defend ourselves, to solve the problem right away, or to make the situation go away. But responding requires patience to allow time for reflection, thought, and understanding. It might involve taking a deep breath, walking away from the situation to regain composure, or simply allowing a moment of silence to think through the consequences of a particular action. The ability to be patient in the face of pressure enables you to choose your response thoughtfully and wisely, without rushing into a decision that might worsen the situation. You don't allow external circumstances to dictate your actions or your emotions. You can engage with the world in a way that is calm, composed, and purposeful. This gives you not only a sense of inner peace, but also the ability to navigate life's challenges with confidence, clarity, and resilience. Hamasupa, you said faith over fear? Expended 500 words and don't add any ending sentence, ChatGPT said. Faith over fear. Fear is one of the most powerful and paralyzing forces in human life. It has the ability to stop progress, hinder growth, and create doubt where there should be certainty. Fear speaks loudly in moments of uncertainty, warning us of imagined dangers and convincing us that we are not capable of handling the challenges that lie ahead. It can prevent us from seizing opportunities, taking risks, and stepping into the unknown. However, there is a far greater force than fear, a force that can silence its voice and overcome its grip. Faith. Faith is not just a belief in something external. It is an inner conviction, a trust in yourself, your abilities, and the process of life itself. While fear paralyzes, faith propels. Fear keeps you stuck in the past or focused on the unknown, but faith allows you to move forward with confidence, even when the future is uncertain. It is the belief that no matter the circumstances, you have the strength, resilience, and resources to navigate through them. Faith is not about knowing exactly what will happen, but about trusting that everything will unfold as it should, and that you will be equipped to handle it. Fear is often based on the anticipation of future events that may never even occur. We fear rejection, failure, loss, or pain, but most of these fears are simply projections of our imagination. They are not rooted in present reality. The mind has a tendency to exaggerate potential dangers, creating scenarios that trigger anxiety and prevent action. But faith stands in stark contrast to this. Faith is grounded in the present moment, in the understanding that, regardless of what may happen, you will have the strength to endure and the wisdom to navigate any challenge. The power of faith lies in its ability to shift your focus. When you operate from a place of fear, your mind is focused on all that could go wrong. It dwells on the worst-case scenarios, creating a mental environment of stress and anxiety. Faith, on the other hand, directs your thoughts toward possibility, opportunity, and the belief that challenges are not barriers, but stepping stones to growth. Faith helps you see beyond the obstacles in front of you and focuses on the potential rewards that lie on the other side. It is important to note that faith is not the absence of fear. It is the conscious choice to move forward despite fear. Fear will always exist as a natural part of the human experience. It arises when we step outside our comfort zones, when we face the unknown, and when we challenge ourselves. But when we choose faith over fear, we are choosing to take action in spite of the fear. We acknowledge its presence, but we do not let it dictate our decisions. This is where true courage is born, not in the absence of fear, but in the act of moving forward, even while fear is present. Faith also empowers us to take calculated risks. The most successful individuals are not those who avoid fear at all costs, but those who face their fears head on, armed with the unwavering belief that they can overcome any obstacle. Faith gives you the courage to take risks, to step into new ventures, and to pursue your dreams even when the path is unclear. It is this faith that transforms uncertainty into excitement and challenges into opportunities. Furthermore, faith fosters resilience. Life is filled with setbacks, disappointments, and failures, but it is the person who has faith that will bounce back from these hardships. They understand that every setback is temporary, and that every failure is simply a lesson, not a final judgment on their abilities or potential. Faith in the process of growth allows them to see failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock, and empowers them to try again with greater strength and determination. Ultimately, faith over fear is a mindset, a decision to believe in your power, in the inherent goodness of life, and in your capacity to navigate whatever challenges come your way. It is a choice to trust that no matter how difficult the journey may be, you are never alone, and that every experience, good or bad, is an opportunity for growth. Faith provides the courage to face the unknown and the strength to persevere, no matter how daunting the path may seem. You said persistence and peace, expended 500 words, and don't add any ending sentence, ChatGPT said. Persistence in peace in a world filled with constant change, noise, and distractions. The pursuit of peace can sometimes feel like an elusive goal. Life throws challenges at us from every direction: stress at work, personal struggles, external pressures, and societal conflicts. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, as if inner peace is something that belongs to a select few or exists only in fleeting moments. However, true peace is not merely a temporary state. It is a habit, a practice, and a mindset that can be cultivated through persistence. Persistence in peace is the ability to remain steady and composed despite external turmoil. It is the unwavering commitment to maintaining an inner calm, no matter the circumstances. While many people struggle to find peace in the midst of chaos, those who are persistent in their peace understand that tranquility is not something you find. It is something you create and nurture within yourself. It is a conscious decision to stay grounded, centered, and focused, even when life becomes turbulent. The foundation of persistence in peace is self-awareness. Before you can persist in peace, you must first be aware of your emotional state, your triggers, and your patterns of reaction. Awareness is the key to recognizing when your mind is beginning to spiral into anxiety, fear, or frustration. By recognizing these emotions as they arise, you gain the power to choose how to respond. Instead of being swept away by a surge of anger or worry, you can take a step back, breathe, and choose a more peaceful response. This act of awareness and choice is the first step toward building a peaceful mindset that can withstand even the most stressful situations. Mindfulness is another powerful tool in the practice of persistence and peace. Mindfulness is the art of being present in the moment, fully engaged with what is happening now, without judgment or distraction. When you are mindful, you are not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. So, you are simply existing in the present, accepting it for what it is. This focus on the present moment is crucial for maintaining peace, as it prevents your mind from being consumed by negative thoughts or fears. Practicing mindfulness helps you stay calm, focused, and grounded, no matter what is happening around you. Persistence in peace also requires self-discipline. In the face of adversity, it is easy to allow emotions to take control. Anger, frustration, and anxiety can all arise in challenging situations, and without discipline, they can hijack your mind and body. But the person who persists in peace understands that their reactions are a matter of choice. Through consistent practice, they develop the discipline to remain composed in even the most difficult circumstances. They resist the urge to react impulsively and instead take time to think, reflect, and choose the most peaceful response. This self-discipline is what allows them to maintain their peace, even when others are losing theirs. Consistency is another key to persistence and peace. Inner peace is not something that happens overnight. It is the result of daily effort, small choices made consistently over time. The more you practice peace, the easier it becomes to maintain. It's similar to building a muscle. At first, it might feel difficult or unnatural, but with persistence and repetition, it becomes stronger and more resilient. Every time you choose to remain calm in the face of adversity, you are reinforcing the habit of peace, making it easier to stay composed the next time a challenge arises. True peace is also rooted in faith. Faith in yourself, in the process, and in the belief that no matter how chaotic the world may be, you have the strength to navigate it with grace. Faith allows you to trust that everything will unfold as it should, even if it doesn't always align with your immediate desires or expectations. This belief gives you the confidence to remain calm and peaceful, knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Finally, persistence in peace requires a deep commitment to growth. The journey toward peace is ongoing, and it's not always easy. There will be moments when you falter, when emotions overwhelm you, or when peace feels like an impossible goal. However, those who are persistent in their peace understand that setbacks are part of the process. They view each challenge as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to refine their ability to remain centered. Through this commitment to personal growth, they continue to build a stronger, more enduring peace within themselves. You said, please give me conclusion of overall speech on 100 words, ChatGPT said. In conclusion, cultivating inner peace is not a passive experience, but an active, persistent practice. By training the mind to stay calm in any situation, embracing the power of thought, and maintaining a definiteness of purpose, we build a solid foundation for resilience. Controlling oneself, responding instead of reacting, choosing faith over fear, and maintaining persistence in peace all require continuous effort and self-awareness. Ultimately, the key to navigating life's challenges is not external circumstances, but the inner strength to remain grounded and focused, regardless of the turmoil around us. Through this, we can achieve true success and lasting peace.